Hey, it's Aaron on autos.com, and today I'm sitting in a 2020 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. So this is the new TRD Pro package for 2020. Adds on a few other things too. It's got the special edition. I forget who it is. Somebody special. Fog lamps. This has a snorkel on it. They call it a desert snorkel, so that's for driving in the sand and stuff, so that sand doesn't, you don't get as much sand into your air cleaner, into your filter. Okay. Desert running is not necessarily my forte. That's not something I've done a whole lot of. I've done a whole lot of mud, done a whole lot of rocks, I've done a whole lot of mountain climbing and that kind of stuff. But just flying through the desert Baja style, not really something I've done a lot of. Not that I don't want to. It is a bucket list thing. I do want to do a Baja style race. But back to this truck. So Tacoma TRD Pro, this is the serious off-road package for this truck. This is so this adds the Fox shocks, the stiffer springs, a little bit of lift, bigger tires, beefier tires, I should say, all that good stuff, right? And this has this beautiful green paint with the TRD graphics added on, which are like a $700 option. So these have the it's black graphics with red highlights and stuff. Really cool looking. So anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about the interior, inside the truck, right? All right. So let's just get to it. I'm going to do the usual, and yeah, you just follow along, and then complain about how much I said, troll me. I don't care. All right, starting over here. Here you have the side mirror control, so you twist it to the direction you want, and then you move it back and forth to adjust. Over here, window locks. Over here, door locks. Here are automatic windows in the front. Both go up and down automatic. Back in the back, they go down automatic, but you have to hold them to pull them up. Door handle and physical lock right there. Now, a bunch of buttons. Traction control right there. This is the camera views. You do have surround view cameras on this rig, so you can page through them. I'll just show you what it looks like so I don't forget to do it later. So that's the first push, second push, done. So there you go, useful. Over here you have the cargo light toggle. So the cargo light in the back of the truck over the bed, in the middle, that means that it turns on when the doors are open and closed and stays on for a couple of minutes. This is manually, so you can just manually on, manually off. Over here is your headlamp auto. So it's when your headlights are on auto, this will do the brights. And then this turns on and off the 120 volt plug that's in here. So pretty neat. All right. Now, looking at the steering wheel. Toyota, compared to some others, is kind of austere with their steering wheels. But anyway, over here you have more or less what amount to infotainment controls. So audio here, up and down for the tracks and or stations right here. Puts calls on hold, mutes, or changes the stereo mode. So if you're say on AM, it will go to FM and or Sirius. This is voice control. Voice control in Toyota's infotainment is pretty good, so you can use that to activate and do most of the slightly more complicated tasks than what you can do by just hitting one or two buttons. So making a phone call, this is a great thing to have. Things like that. Over here is your telematics, which is not the actual term for this, but I like that term, so I use it. This hangs up the telephone. And now over here, this is driver information screen controls. There's a back button. Here's the main menus, and then this pages through stuff. So looking at that driver information screen, you can see what I'm looking at, what it flips through. So I won't show you any more than this because there isn't a whole ton to look at. It's informative and useful, and you can go through and find useful information, but One thing Toyota does not do is a lot of like the off-road gauges and other stuff that you'll find in other vehicles that have off-road packages. You really don't find that in Toyotas. They don't tend to show you like pitch and yaw and drivetrain configuration or usage and that sort of stuff. It's just not a Toyota thing. And I don't knock them for that, because honestly, that stuff, they're neat gimmicks, but I rarely really use them. Mostly it's to go, look how steep we're angled. That's really all it's, because most everything's by feel. So, yeah. Anyway, I diverge a lot. Just, if you're new to the channel, I do a lot of those. A lot of those little segues where I wander off, diverge a little bit, and then I have to bring myself back. Happens. All right. Back to where I was. This is for cruise control. So this is lane keeping here. This is the distance on cruise control. This is actual cruise control. So you turn it on and off pushing that. You push it down to set, pull it up to resume, and pull it towards you to cancel. And then this sets the distance for the adaptive cruise, which is now, as far as I know, pretty much standard across the board in all Toyota vehicles. Because I know all their crash stuff is. So over here, Safety Sense. That's what Toyota calls it. Toyota Safety Sense. They're really pushing it this year too. I've had 3 Toyota products since January 2020, and all 3 of them have had big Safety Sense placards hanging off the rear view, telling me all about their safety system, because they're proud of the fact that they now have those advanced safety systems standard across the board, and I'm totally on board with that. That's cool. I'm glad they're doing that. So a lot of other manufacturers, not most, a few other manufacturers are following suit. They're either there or really close to it. So kudos. All right, over here, we got the windshield washer wipers. So this is hard because the angles in this truck are difficult for somebody my size. Anyway, works the way you would think. This controls the speed up and down to run it. You can see what those selections are. This does not have automatic wipers or anything like that. Going over here, you got signal turns going up and down. This in the middle, there's your fog lamps. This on the edge, there's your regular lights. You can see I have it on auto. Down here is daytime running lights and off. You go down to daytime runners and there you go, it's also off. So it does not have a all lights off option. So sorry, teenagers trying to sneak into the driveway at night, there's going to be lights. Bummer. And then back and forth for your brights. Now, instrument cluster. Wow, I can get the whole thing in one shot. That's awesome. Over here you have your tachometer. Normally I would say, what's the point of a tachometer? It's automatic transmission, you're not going to be doing anything. But this is an off-road rig, so you do actually need a tachometer. Really cool, really nice, and works well. I like the curve that this 3.5 liter V6 has. It has a good torque delivery curve. It's nice and long, like you want from a V6 going off-road. Down here is engine heat. Hasn't been running very long. I just started it up to do this. It's in the morning, so there you go. Over here you got speedometer, Canuck miles per hour, and there's a fuel. This is kind of a fuel hog. I don't know if I mentioned that before. EPA rating is 22 miles a gallon on the highway, but with all the off-road gear added on, I was barely on a really good day downhill getting 20. I think most people can expect their average highway drive is going to be somewhere around 19 in this particular package. So with the TRD Pro package, with all the other stuff added on, you're adding a few hundred pounds of weight, and that's going to bog it down a little bit. Plus those bigger, beefier tires are not highway conducive. So yeah, I was getting like not quite 20, and I think most people are going to see somewhere between 18 and 19 on average. You're going to be closer to that city rating than the highway rating on the highway. Around town, I didn't do any testing, so I couldn't tell you a number on that. Over here, this is the driver information screen. You can see I have it in my favorite spot. There are some other stuff I showed you earlier. That sounded really, really intelligent. There are some other stuff. Yeah, whatever. So you can just see what they are. I'll page through really quick. Spend a little time, let me go back to it. Spend a little time in this, because some of these you can change either their defaults, or you can change what they're doing as far as how sensitive they are. So useful to go through those. Otherwise, there you go. I'm gonna put it right back to where I like it. Boom. And then down at the bottom, that pretty much, you saw that pretty much stays permanent. This up here doesn't change either. I have yet to see it change. I love the mountain scene in the back though. Isn't that cool? It's pretty. All right, nice little touches. I love it when designers and automakers do these nice little touches. My favorite kind of vents, I haven't pointed those out yet. These are all through, right? All the vents are like that. I love these. You twist them, you put them to where you want, you close them off when you don't want them. I love these things. Great. Now, infotainment. Look at that big black mark on my... It's going to be a while before that goes away. So, anyway, infotainment in this is good. This is basically the home screen. So if you push that, you end up here. Then you do have a menu, which is... Here you go. There aren't very many apps. You can install some. You can use, if you have Toyota's proprietary app, you can use that. You can use Apple CarPlay, and I believe they are adding Android Auto. I plugged in with this and it did not pop up Android Auto, so I'm assuming they do not have it in this particular truck, but I am told that it's coming in 2020 and or is already here. I'm going to drink some coffee, so I can either cut this or you can watch me drink coffee, depending on my mood at editing time. So you can get an idea of what everything else is. You can always tap something to bring up the full version of it. I've been streaming off my phone. This has Sirius XM and other stuff, but I've been streaming off my phone with this because, you know, when you're off-road bouncing around, I have a specific playlist for that. In a truck like this, it includes Slayer. Just saying. Yeah. All right. So that's the infotainment. There's phone and other stuff over there. Most of the time, you're going to be touching that screen. You're going to use these for like the home screen really quick, maybe the audio, but most of the time, I think you're just going to be touching the screen itself. It's just easier. It's intuitive. Down here, you got some Dukes lights right there. Over here, you got bun warmers. Over here, you got more bun warmers for the other side. Airbag indicator there. This is the engine start, so you push down the pedal, you start there. You can also just use accessories and all that good stuff. Four-wheel drive controls, pretty simple. Here's two-wheel drive, do that, now you're in four-wheel drive. Push it and do that, you're in four low. Pretty simple, easy to use. The four low will beep at you because it's telling you that it's shifting and that it's going into four low. This is gonna, I would actually have to go into gear, into drive so that it could do that, but there you go. This is the side mirror defrost. I don't know why it's on. I think I bumped it. Here's climate controls. Right now I have everything off, but if I push auto, then you can see here's my temperatures and the fan speed and all of that. You can manually run it, or you can put it on auto and set a temp, right? And then you can just turn it off like that. Defrost there. There is no rear window defrost, just the side mirrors. So the rear window is a split rear. I won't show that to you. You know what they look like. That's pointless. But I'll show you how to open and close it right here. So you can pull this to close it, push it to open it, right? Nice little way to vent out a truck cab really quickly, by the way. So if you don't know that, now you do. Over here, blind spot management on and off. ECT power for whatever's. Here's parking. Here's some USB plug. A USB plug. Some USB plug. Actually, honestly, I just couldn't remember if there was one or two in there. So I just took the 50-50 die roll and helped. 12 volt right there. This right here. This is a key charger, so you can drop your phone in there and wirelessly charge. And there's a little bit of space. You can get a pretty large phone in there. Mine fit in there with plenty of space left over, and my phone's not tiny, so that's pretty good. Pretty good charging. Here's some drink holders with Toyota's signature. Don't smack things in here too fast or you'll break it. Holders. Those come out too, by the way. You can just pull those out if they're in the way. But there you go. It's the kind of stuff I like to FYI, little details that you know. So here's the shifter. This is a special TRD shifter that's part of this package. The normal Toyota Tacoma. I keep wanting to say Tundra. even though I'm not in a Tundra, because, you know, they're just similar names. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, the normal Tacoma shifter is similar to this, but a little bit smaller and doesn't have the red line and doesn't say TRD on it, all of that. But it is similar otherwise. And it shifts exactly the same. So you can see how it shifts. So you can go into gear like this. You can push it over and go to manual. You can push it back and forth to shift manually through those gears. Nice for hill descent, things like that, by the way, which I've used more than once in this. Here's my coffee. I like this drink holder because it holds it really snug and doesn't let it move around. Specifically fits things that I tend to use like this. Nice little cubby here. That's why I've been dropping my phone when I'm not dropping it in the charger. And a handbrake, which if you off-road and off-road at high speeds, you'll understand why that's important. Again, I have not done a lot of Baja. I want to do a lot of Baja. I have not done a lot of Baja. Don't happen to live where it is. But that is what this is for. J-turns, boom. Got it? Got it. Anyway, there's that. And then before I forget, I'm going to show you these crawl controls. So right up here, so you can see you set the control, you tune it to where you want it. You can tune it on the fly, so you get an idea of, and it basically just acts sort of like a cruise control for off-roading. Moves you at a certain speed so you don't have to touch the throttle anymore, and you can just hold that steady speed and concentrate on steering. And then up here you can see you have your differential lock, and then over here are the controls for SOS and for the sunroof. So I like that, and I like the dash. I mean, it's not the best. I've seen prettier ones, but in a truck, you want a big blocky dash like this because it just makes you feel like this is a robust vehicle. Really good looking. I like the seating a lot. This TRD seating is wonderful. This is very non-slip, so it has a lot of texture to it, keeps you in place. The bolsters are good. They're not overly aggressive, but they're not terrible. I like the bolsters, and they hold you in place nicely. I really like the interior. The back seats are a very good size. 3 kids across when you have to, and you know, 2 adults easily. Nice back seat. It's the usual in a Tacoma, so if you've seen a Tacoma in any other package, the back seat in this is exactly the same. Good cargo bed, decently useful truck. This has the tow package on it. As far as I know, that's standard across the board for Tacoma. I don't think you can get a Tacoma that doesn't have a tow package, but I don't know that for sure, so, you know, don't quote me. Don't go to the dealership and start complaining, right? Anyway, wonderful little truck. I really like it. And that's what I got. So there you go. This has been Aaron, AaronOnAutos.com. Talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.